Greetings dear viewers and welcome to the review program. We hope that you're enjoying your weekend while we are back with a new episode. So let's proceed with the analysis. Migration plays a crucial role in every country's economy. Uzbekistan has the biggest population among all Central Asian states. However, one of the key challenges Uzbekistan is facing is utilization of the demographic dividend. Meanwhile, a significant part of the population migrates abroad in search of better labor conditions. According to the latest data from the Central Bank of Uzbekistan, in 2023, around 4.5 million Uzbek citizens work abroad, with Russia being the primary destination, hosting approximately 3 million Uzbek migrants. According to the data from Statistics Agency, the number of labor migrants from Uzbekistan is 2 million, 1,452,300 men and 547,700 women. In this episode, we are going to analyze how Uzbekistan manages migration with other countries and how labor migration affects dynamics of the state. But before we proceed, let's first review the latest news of this week. My colleague Komila Tursunova will continue.
Good evening, dear viewers, and I'm Komila Tursunova, and I will be briefing you on the recent news of this week. Let's go. This week started with a productive official visit of President Shavkat Mirziyoyev to Kuwait. At the Al Bayan Palace in Kuwait City, President Shavkat Mirziyoyev and the Emir of the State of Kuwait, Sheikh Mishal Al Sabah, held a private meeting and negotiations with the participation of official delegations. Following the negotiations in Kuwait City, President Shavkat Mirziyoyev and the Emir Sheikh Mishal Al Sabah adopted a joint statement on the development of Uzbek-Kuwaiti relations within a comprehensive partnership. During the visit, the head of Uzbekistan met with a number of representatives of the various companies. The agenda also included the visit of the Al Salam Palace Museum in the city of Al Kuwait. The president left an entry in the book of honorary guests of the museum. Following his visit to Al Kuwait, President Shavkat Mirziyoyev met with the Crown Prince of Kuwait, Shahzad Al Sabah. Both parties agreed to establish joint monitoring of all decisions and agreements to ensure their effective implementation. With that, the first official visit to the President of Kuwait has concluded. The Ministry of Economy and Finance of Uzbekistan has denied claims about the upcoming increase in salaries, pensions, and benefits. The ministry clarified that information about a 10% raise in March and August is false and that such updates are published only through official government sources. Investment profitability in Tashkent's multi-story housing market has dropped significantly. In January, returns fell to 7.6%. Real estate investments generate profits through rental income and power-to-value appreciations, but declining housing prices have sharply reduced capital gains. The Cabinet of Ministers approved new regulations on licensing activities in the electricity sector. The regulation mandates licensing for electricity generation, transmission, distribution, storage, supply, and market operations. Licenses are not required for off-grid energy production, self-consumption storage, or power plants under 5 megawatts. Applications can be submitted via license system, the Unified Portal of Interactive Public Services, or service centers with the required documents including an energy facility passport and business plan. The review process takes 15 working days and applications are notified of approval or rejection. President has signed a new decree aimed at expanding youth entrepreneurship and employment. The Youth Business Program will run from 2025 to 2027, creating new job opportunities for individuals aged 18 to 30. The initiative will support 350,000 young people and create at least 100,000 new jobs by providing professional financial support for young startups and investment projects to develop modern entrepreneurial skills. Under the first step in business projects, self-employed individuals aged 18 to 30 who pay social tax can apply for online microloans of up to 100 million sums for up to 7 years with a great period. The Jobs for Youth project will offer loans of up to 5 billion sums for young sole entrepreneurs under the same 7-year preferential terms. This support also extends to legal entities, creating at least 20 jobs. The President has signed 2 decrees on Victory Day. For instance, in commemoration of the 8th anniversary of victory, the government will provide financial support to our veterans and labor front participants from 1941 to 1945. A one-time monetary reward is established as follows. Each World War II participant and disabled veteran will receive $10,000. Each person equivalent to a World War II participant will receive 25 million sums. Each labor front participant from 1941 to 1945 will receive 3 million sums. In addition, another presidential decree ensures a high-level celebration of the 80th anniversary of victory in World War II and a day of remembrance and honor under the slogan "Heroism for Prosperity, Peace, Homeland Protection will not be forgotten." The program led by the Prime Minister Abdullah Aripov includes commemorative events, financial aid, medical support, and home renovations for veterans, along with the public ceremonies, cultural activities, and nationwide celebrations. Authorities will also ensure public safety, media coverage, and funding through local budgets and charitable contributions. Uzbekistan has been allocated 15,000 quotas for the Hajj 2025 pilgrimage as reported by the Saudi Arabian Ministry of Hajj and Umrah. The ministry announced that Umrah quotas are now unregistered, allowing an unlimited number of pilgrims from Uzbekistan to visit under certain conditions. The first ever Turkic ski competition was held at the Amirsoy Resort in Tashkent region with around 50 athletes from Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Azerbaijan, Turkey, and the host country Uzbekistan participating. Athletes competed in the 3 categories. The first for boys and girls aged 18 to 25, the second for amateurs aged 26 to 45, and the third for athletes over 45. Among the participants, some Uzbeks stood out by wearing traditional national costumes. The next Turkic State Ski Cup is scheduled to be held in Turkey, followed by the next one in Kazakhstan. Now, news from abroad. The IDEX 2025 International Defense Technology Exhibition is currently being held in the United Arab Emirates, with the Uzbek Defense Industry Agency participating. This biennial event will feature drones, electronic warfare systems, and dual-purpose products developed by the Uzbek military industrial enterprises. Uzbekistan presented the Arslan armored personnel carrier and the Tufan self-propelled holotizer at the IDEX 2025 exhibition. Until now, Kazakhstan was the only Central Asian country producing wheeled armored vehicles. With this exhibition, Uzbekistan has entered the competition in this field.
The majority of labor migrants from Uzbekistan are in Russia, followed by Kazakhstan, Turkey, Korea, and other countries. According to research conducted by the World Bank as part of the Listening to the Citizens of Uzbekistan project, the share of households with labor migrants currently stands at about 13%. But what does this statistics mean for everyday lives of people in Uzbekistan? How do local residents perceive migration, and what challenges or opportunities does it bring? My colleague Sevil Rajabova conducted a special survey among local residents to hear their views and opinions on migration.
Remittances from migrant workers play a crucial role in Uzbekistan's economy, supporting many families. Meanwhile, internal migration has increased, with people moving from rural areas to cities like Tashkent in search of better opportunities. So let's ask people what's the top reason for people in Uzbekistan to go abroad and what are the most popular destinations.
I think many people go abroad to explore foreign countries. My son is currently studying in Moscow. People are interested in seeing other countries, gaining experience, and working on their self-improvement. That's why many young men and women are drawn to studying abroad. Nowadays, students are going abroad to build their careers, as the modern world demands.
First of all, one of the reasons I would say is that it is very difficult to get into our local universities. Studying might be easier, but getting admitted is the hardest part. I'm currently preparing for university admission myself, and it's really challenging. Also, there are more career growth opportunities abroad.
I think From little that I know about Uzbek, I think currently the education or the standard of education, higher education, probably isn't to the levels as it is abroad. But I think as the government and as the industry invests here, that you'll find that actually the opportunities will be here. But currently, I think the standard is probably better externally. That's my personal opinion.
Mostly it's countries like America, Germany, England, Korea and Japan. Most people go to Germany and the USA. Also, it is a bit more difficult to go to the US now. Students can go there through work and travel programs to gain work experience.
I know that popular destinations for work include Korea, Germany, Russia, also Japan.
We mainly need medical professionals, teachers and educators. Doctors are especially in demand.
In terms of what we do here in Uzbekistan, we have almost a $15 billion investment in this country. And the resources that we lack are engineers, are environmental, social individuals. We also require engineers who have electrical backgrounds in terms of large construction. And then obviously the other big need that we have in this country is for construction engineers.
No, I don't want to go abroad for work or anything else. I like living in my homeland. Actually, yes, I already work in Russia. We are thinking about it. We want to fly somewhere.
Well, I wanted to try going abroad for studies. I chose some countries in Europe, for example, Italy, Austria. I think the enrollment process is easier there, and there are more opportunities to grow professionally.
I believe that we have a shortage of jobs, and that's why people are leaving.
I think it depends. So if you're talking about Europe, Europe is becoming right-wing. A lot of the far-right parties are now winning, which are largely against immigration. And I think that's going to have an impact. And I think that will force the issue for Uzbeks to come back to the country.
I think the hardest challenge is language barrier. In my opinion, people should not migrate if they do not know the language.
Unlike its high immigration rates, Uzbekistan has a relatively low level of immigration. However, in recent years, there has been a growing influx of foreign workers and investors, particularly from China, Turkey and Russia. Uzbekistan's economic reforms, improved investment climate, and new visa policies have made it more attractive to foreign entrepreneurs. While labor migration continues to shape the economy, internal migration and immigration trends are also becoming more significant. Despite the economic benefits, migration poses several challenges for Uzbekistan. We have discussed this matter with the expert from the World Bank, Laurent Bossavi. Our today's topic is migration. For those who doesn't know anything about migration patterns in Central Asia or in Uzbekistan, how would you describe it shortly?
In the case of Uzbekistan, for example, it's a lot of temporary migration, so meaning that people go and work abroad overseas for a couple of years, and then they return to their home country. This is in contrast with some other countries where migration is more permanent, so people go outside and don't come back. But in the case of Uzbekistan, it's a lot of temporary migration. And if we think about the divide between low and high skill migration from Uzbekistan also tend to be low skilled as opposed to high skilled, meaning that it's mostly people with low levels of qualification that go and work overseas.
Many countries pursue migration as a potential threat to their economies due to concerns about labor market competition, wage suppression, and increased strain on public services. There is a worry that if too many immigrants, especially those with lower skills, come into a country, they might take jobs away from locals and cause wages to drop. Despite these concerns, research indicates that immigration has a net positive effect on economies. Immigrants contribute to economic expansion by filling essential essential workforce needs, driving business creation and fueling innovation. According to American Immigration Council, in 2022, immigrant households in the US paid $579.1 billion in total taxes, accounting for nearly 1 in every 6 tax dollars collected by federal, state and local governments. Spain is a recent example of how immigration can boost the economy. With a low birth rate and aging population, the country welcomed immigrants to fill job shortages, especially in services. This approach led to a 3.2% economic growth rate in 2024, higher than other major European countries. More migrants also helped lower unemployment to its lowest level since 2008 and kept the economy running by taking on important jobs.
Some countries are afraid of refugees or migrants because it may hurt the economy, or their economy might not be ready for it. And while some countries like Germany, each year they're looking for migrants, right? How would you define migration? Is it good for the country, for example, for the state, or it will hurt its economy?
Yes, so it's a very good question and also a very complex one to answer. That's what we're trying to do in the report, because there are very complex impacts of migration on the destination countries, and these effects take place through very different channels. But so I won't go through all of the details. We find that in the aggregate, the economic impacts of migration are beneficial for destination countries. But of course, these effects really depend a lot on the type of policies also that destination countries put in place. Policies that destination countries implement can really have a strong impact on both the benefits and the costs of migration, because as you also pointed out, there can be costs to migration. But what we also highlight in general, attitudes towards migration tend to be more negative when compared to the actual effects that overall migrants tend to have positive effects on destination countries' economies, because they help, in most cases, to fill labor shortages that destination countries are experiencing. So in areas where they lack labor from the domestic labor market, migrants are helping to fill this gap, and that also that helps boosting the economy and the labor market. For example, if we take the example of a country in Western Europe, the population is aging, they're already experiencing shortages in their labor market, so a lack of labor force. There, in some contexts, and depending again on the policies that are in place, migration may potentially contribute to labor shortages. Again, it depends a lot on of many conditions and policies. If we think about a context like Uzbekistan, there the impact might be very different, because we are talking about a context where you have a growing population, a lot of young people entering the labor force. And this can actually help the domestic labor market. It can help alleviate pressures, unemployment pressures in the Uzbek labor market. It is very important for countries of origin, such as Uzbekistan, which primarily sends migrants, as opposed to countries who mostly receive migrants, to aim to diversify migration flows. So what do we mean by diversifying migration flows? We mean that it's really important to have diversity in terms of both the set of countries migrants are going to, but also the type of economic activity migrants are engaged in. And why is this important? Because if migrants concentrate in one single country or type of economic activity, as a result, they and the country of origin can be very exposed to risk and negative events that can take place in the destination country.
Historically, Russia has been the main destination for Uzbek labor migrants. As of 2022, approximately 2 million Uzbeks resided in Russia, with about 71% migrating for employment purposes. However, by the end of 2024, this number declined to around 698,000, possibly due to Russia's economic challenges and strict immigration policies. At the same time, remittances from Uzbek migrants play a crucial role in Uzbekistan's economy. In 2024, approximately 2.5 million Uzbeks working abroad sent back funds exceeding the country's gold export revenues, constituting over 14% of Uzbekistan's GDP. An interesting fact from World Bank data, migrants from Uzbekistan returned to their origin country within less than a year.
Uzbekistan showcases the lowest duration of migrants abroad among other Central Asian countries. As an expert, why do you think it is so?
So that's also a good question. So one contributing factor is that migration from Uzbekistan is characterized by the fact that migrants typically move abroad on their own, like without the rest of the family. So that's definitely one contributing factor for why we observe like migrants staying abroad for fairly short periods of time in order to return home to their family. And we also observe people moving multiple times. So they go once, they come back, and then they move once again. So they do that multiple times, which could also explain why we seem to be seeing short migration spells. So this is observed also for other Central Asian countries. But as you said, in Uzbekistan, the duration of stay tend to be slightly lower than from other Central Asian countries. In some cases, it can also be because Uzbek migrants move to a more diverse set of destinations compared to other Central Asian countries. There could be restrictions in the duration of stay of this migrant in some other destination.
Uzbek migration is driven by economic opportunities, with Russia historically the top destination. However, stricter policies have reduced migrant numbers. Despite this, remittances remain crucial, making up over 14% of Uzbekistan's GDP. Many migrants return home within a year, showing the temporary nature of their work abroad. Labor migration plays a dual role in Uzbekistan's economy, providing crucial financial inflows while also creating workforce gaps. Although remittances sustain families and boost economic activity, migration also poses long-term risks like dependency on foreign economies and urban-rural labor imbalances. So here, our analysis comes to an end. Thank you for watching this program and see you in the next episodes.